What's up, everybody? Let's talk Jets radio. Hope you guys are all doing well. Appreciate everybody that called in Tuesday night. Wild show. Definitely did not anticipate it going down that path. Thought it would be a relaxing show, good vibes, and it just turned into complete bedlam. But again, that's what makes the show and Jet fans so great. Very passionate opinions on either side. News of the day: Adam Schefter obviously reporting that Deshaun Watson, I guess, has officially requested a trade out of Houston. Apparently, he did so weeks ago. And at least for me, for the Jets, this doesn't really change a damn thing. I'm still waiting to hear from Deshaun or his agent that the Jets are his top priority, that he wants to be a New York Jet, that this is where he'd rather go, instead of Miami or San Fran or a number of other teams that are probably going to be interested, over the next couple of weeks. And again, also, the fact that this deal can't be done until March 17th. I think there's so many hurdles to still climb, and there's going to be tons of rumors from now until then. I'm honestly exhausted talking about every single, rumor that breaks about this. But again, as far as it goes for the Jets, the salary cap, which we briefly touched on Tuesday night, I don't think that's much of an issue, especially this year. Him and Sam's numbers are pretty much identical. When you go to next year, if you pick up Sam's 50-year option, that's $25 million. Watson, once you subtract the $5 million that Houston would pay on the signing bonus, it would be $35 million. So you're talking, one premium player or maybe, two fringe starting caliber players. But when you add that to the cost that some people are talking about, that's where I think it makes a difference. Another 4 first-round picks, a potential player like Quinnen or somebody else, you're talking about legitimately 7, 8, 9 different players that you could have on this team without Deshaun Watson. So what would Joe Douglas be able to do with that? If we have confidence in Joe Douglas to be able to operate with, a little bit less money and a lot less draft capital, then we would have to have confidence in him to work with all that draft capital and a little bit more money, right? I mean, that's only logic there. And, at the same time, if we have confidence in him in the mid to late rounds, we should have confidence in him if Sam doesn't work out to be able to find a quarterback, whether or not, he's in love with Fields or Zach Wilson or somebody else this year, or they want to roll it back with Sam for a year, pick up the 50-year option, not pick up the 50-year option. We should have confidence in Joe Douglas to be able to figure it out if, the price is too steep on Watson, which is why I don't think it's, Deshaun or bust at this point. You look at all the great quarterbacks right now. Aaron Rodgers was picked at the end of the first round. Mahomes was the third quarterback in his draft. Russell Wilson, 4th round pick. Dak Prescott, 4th round pick. Drew Brees, I forget where he was drafted. I think he might have been a 3rd rounder. Definitely, I don't think he was a 1st rounder. Tom Brady in the 6th round. I mean, almost all the prominent quarterbacks that are out there right now, they weren't the top pick in the draft, or, the team that got them didn't give up, 3 or 4 first-round picks and suddenly build a winner around them. And, the opposite is kind of true, in Pat Mahomes' sense, where, the Chiefs and even, the Texans with Watson, they kind of had those teams all set up. And then once the opportunity presented itself, then they traded future draft capital and they brought their quarterback in because the pieces around were kind of ready to go. So I think there are multiple ways to do this. It's not Deshaun or bust for me, but if you heard Richard Sherman talk, that's kind of my mindset as well. He said, and he was actually going a step further with it, saying the Jets shouldn't offer more than 1 first-round pick. That number 2 overall pick, that should be more than enough for Houston to go get their quarterback, whether it's Fields or Wilson, somebody like that. I think he even mentioned, throwing in a 2nd rounder this year and another 2nd rounder next year. I'd be all about that. I would drive Sam to the airport if that was the deal that we're talking about here. I even said I would do 2 first-round picks plus, some 2nd rounders. 3 first-round picks is probably as far as I would go. But some of the deals that you guys are talking about, I think are just completely ridiculous, completely reckless. And I just don't think that's how you build a team. So again, I'm all about Deshaun Watson. I'd love to see him a Jet, but for me, it still has to be at the right price because I do have faith in Joe Douglas to build this team, especially if we have all this draft capital. I think that he could really build a nice foundation here. And it's not just about the quarterback. I gave all the examples Tuesday night, with guys like Foles and Jimmy G, Jared Goff, and, even Eli, if you want to throw him in there, guys that weren't top 5 quarterbacks who either won or went to a Super Bowl. So there are multiple ways to build this thing. I'd love Watson, but for me, at least, it's not Watson or bust. And until I hear something change, that he wants to be a Jet, that we're his priority, that this is the only place he wants to go, or at least, we're the number 1 option for him. Until something like that comes out, we're going to be going back and forth with these rumors for the next 7 weeks. And it's already starting to drive me crazy. So talk to you guys soon.